Today's youth need teachers, volunteers, and most of all, well, they need you. I'm Doug Edwards, and I'm going to be talking with real youth mentors and students to give you the knowledge you need to be the best youth worker possible. This is Youth Worker on Fire.
Oh, you're trying to bring me down and run me out of town. You're taking what you want, but you can't take my rhythm now. I'm walking to my own beat, just gonna be me. I'm not replicating nobody. You wanna be like me.
World population 2025 plus. That's what I typed in to find out what I found, and I got a whole lot more than I bargained for. The world's population 2025 is projected to be 8,231,000,000 plus. That is a 69 million increase, 69,640,498 person increase from 2024. Now, this might be a program that you want to do with your students or with your staff to help them understand the urgency and the increased emergency of sharing Jesus on a regular basis at home and abroad. Now, what is really impressive to me is this world-o-meter that you can look at the actual population go up, and every second you're seeing people being born. There's 20 countries that actually infuse themselves into this to where their data, probably from hospitals, which means it's not completely accurate because there's some people that are having babies outside of hospitals. And so I don't know if this is their calculation of it or whatever. And at the top of the heap is India. The second is China. I thought it would be reversed. The third largest growing population is the United States of America, which is well below, not even in the billions, in the 300 millions, as opposed to the 1+ billions in those other two countries. And then the list goes on of 20 countries. Now you can go to YouTube and get a video, and I don't remember what year it was or whatever, but it'll show 140 countries second by second as the population is going up. Now, what I liked about the World-O-Meter was it also showed how many people are dying every second of the day. And then they give the calculation of what that offset is from the larger number that's being born. And so you get an accurate amount of people that are actually living on the earth second by second. I mean, it's pretty mind-boggling. So how does that affect you? Well, number one, I think it's an impressive thing to show that clock. And if you don't show the clock, to show the World-O-Meter, which is really more definitive, you can see it better. You could go back and forth. And then to talk to them about the Great Commission. So what is the Great Commission? In Matthew, let's read it here. And it says, then the 11 disciples, verse 16, and it goes on through other verses. Then the 11 disciples left for Galilee, going to the mountain where Jesus had told them to go. When they saw him, they worshiped him, but some of them doubted. Jesus came and told his disciples, I have been given all authority in heaven and on earth. Therefore, go and make disciples of all the nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. Teach these new disciples to obey all the commands I have given you. And be sure of this, I am with you always, even to the end of the earth. Okay, now listen, the end of the earth. And when you look at this, there also, if you look up world population or something like that, the actual committee for the doomsday clock can come up. That's pretty ominous and dark. I don't know if I would even cover that because there's so much of that in the world and it's so politically driven and all those things. But for the Great Commission, I would show that World-O-Meter, just so really interesting. And it's current, it's now. Like I said, it only covers 20 of the countries, and that is massively impressive. But then when you add the video, if you want to, of the other 40, you don't really need that. It's just there for a hype. If you wanted to, you could start it off with that for a program, whether it's with your staff, once again, whether it's the church promoting the Great Commission and how we have got to just constantly, as the church worldwide, universal, being on the map with that and working with that, which is why you go back and you look at Larry Stevens and Amanda Stevens, but Larry's last episode, I've got one with Larry and Amanda and one with just Amanda, who was one of our former students. But he is promoting the animated version of the Jesus film. The Jesus film was the number one largest tool bringing more people to Christ than any other tool out there worldwide for decades. I'm talking, I think, since the late 70s or early 80s when Eshelman created that. Campus Crusade for Christ promoted it, and missionaries have used it in many, many different organizations since. The animated version is seen to believe to be able to reach countless more people than the Jesus film ever did. And you've seen other versions of things that are on TV that are doing well, but this is going to reach across the world in places and nooks and crannies that no other media, social media, radio, free Europe or whatever. There's so many things that are out there in evangelism medias that are there to reach dark countries that are opposed to Christianity. Take a look at that. See if that's something that you want to do, willing to do. Remember, Paul talked about this on his journey. The Apostle Paul, I do all things for all people, that by all means some might be saved. That's my paraphrase of it. You can go look at that, use those other, and I'm sure you'll come up with many, many more scriptures that are as good or better than that. Hope this helps you guys, you youth workers, you parents, whoever you are that's working with adolescents and reaching them with the gospel of Jesus Christ and discipling them to share the gospel. Don't forget to listen a few episodes ago with Joel Johnson and be a part of his Wholehearted University and get his Wholehearted book. That's it for today. Youth workers, get to it. There's plenty of work to do. There's lots of work that people are counting on us to get to, and we're praying that God will bring more people in. He's already got people ready to be harvested to come to Jesus personally. He's just waiting for the workers. There's not enough workers yet. You might not believe it, but there's not, to reach out and reach this world population of more than 8 billion in the world and counting. Youth Worker on Fire, and we're out.
You've been listening to the Youth Worker on Fire podcast. If you like what you hear, please subscribe and tell your friends. Also, leave a comment and tell us what you think. Stay tuned for more informative episodes.